Mrs. Lam said that she was shocked and saddened by the recent events in the past few weeks, and she was concerned about the protest actions that have been taken. She also noted there were two types of protests, ones in the hundreds of thousands that were relatively peaceful and calm, and yet there was also a minority group of protesters who decided to resort to violent actions. So she made a sincere plea that if anyone wants to actually air their views in public, to do so in an orderly and peaceful manner. She also said that since giving her sincere public apology more than a week ago, she has been closely talking to leaders, political leaders, as well as religious leaders and leaders of various sectors of society, and said that they've come up with what she thinks is a plan to respond to the demands of the protesters. As you heard earlier on there, she said that the bill is dead, but opposition to the extradition bill will take fault in the fact that she did not use the word withdrawn, which seemed to suggest to them, for example, that the bill maybe isn't dead, that in some time in the future that the government can resuscitate this. Although many political analysts say that a suspension at this stage is equal to a withdrawal, simply because it would be political suicide for this administration or any subsequent administrations to try to resuscitate this bill. Now, she also spoke about the fact that there was calls for an independent inquiry into the June 12th protests. The IPCC, the Independent Police Complaints Council, has received more than 100 complaints against police officers. They are now doing a fact-finding mission into the protest actions taken between the period of June 12th onto July 1st. But again, the protesters will take note of this and the fact that their demands have still not been met for an independent public inquiry, possibly headed by an ex-Hong Kong judge, which they say will have more powers of subpoena to call witnesses to the stand, and also to grant anonymity, as well as grant immunity for these witnesses in testifying against this public inquiry. And the fact that the inquiry itself would have a wider ranging role in terms of, for example, reviewing public police policies, for example, or even the fact that to find the underlying root causes of this particular extradition bill, why it wasn't handled properly, and why the public and protesters responded in the way that they did.
Oh, Roland, Ms. Lam in this press conference as well, saying that the public trust in the government is currently very fragile, echoing what you've just said. She will adopt a new governance style. In the context of Hong Kong, what could she possibly mean?
Right. She did acknowledge that the current anger towards her administration as well as the extradition bill is not the underlying root cause of the unhappiness with protesters on the streets of Hong Kong. So she feels that there should be further consultation, more dialogue sessions with various parties, particularly the youth, in trying to reach out to them to find the root causes of the unhappiness. She referred to the fact that she had participated in negotiations with student leaders during the Occupy movement of 2014. She says the movement ended without actually resolving the conflicts in society in Hong Kong, and therefore this has now transferred to the extradition bill controversy. So what she is proposing, for example, is one of the initiatives, her Youth Development Commission, an initiative to address the concerns of youngsters. This will be revamped. She's also calling for more ad hoc committees, not headed by government officials, but by leaders of the communities themselves, to get a better sense of what the ground is feeling towards policies. She says that she wants space and time to revamp her cabinet, to revamp her style of governance, to be a more listening, I guess, administration. And she says that she will learn from her mistakes at this point in time. She's also said that she's spoken to religious leaders, to other leaders in society, and they are calling for an open platform for dialogue. And she says that she is willing to take this on. She earlier on in the week also made efforts to talk to two student unions, the student union leaders of Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, as well as Chinese University, they refused because it was going to be a closed-door session. She says now she's willing to have open dialogue and let the rest of the public listen, but she insists that there should be no preconditions attached to this meeting between the chief executive and the various student leaders of all the universities of Hong Kong.